welcome back to another episode of If You Give a Mouse a Meeple, a series that teaches you how to play some of your favorite board games. My name's Aaron from the Board Game Brothers, and the game that we're going to go over today is Ticket to Ride. So, let's get right to it. So to set up Ticket to Ride, what you're going to do is you're going to place the board in the middle of the table, and then every player is going to choose a color. So I chose green, and you place your corresponding token of that color at the beginning of the game board, and this is going to be your score tracker, and it goes all the way across around the board, and it's just going to keep track of your score throughout the game. You're also going to take your corresponding train card tokens of that color. There's going to be 45 that you start with for each player of their specific color, and you place them in front of you. And throughout the game, you're going to be placing these little train card tokens onto the board. The next thing you do is you take these train car cards, and you're going to shuffle them up, and you're going to pass out 4 to each player. After all players have their train car cards, you're going to put 5 face up next to the deck so that all the players can see those 5 cards. The next thing you do is you get your destination cards. So you shuffle these up and you pass out 3 to every player. So the destination cards, what you do is you look at them and you can choose to keep all 3, but you have to keep at least 2. So if you want to keep only 2 and not all 3, you can just take the excess cards and just put them back on the bottom of the deck. And after all players have done that, then you're ready to play the game. On your turn, you're allowed to do one of 3 actions. Either draw train car cards, claim a route, or draw destination cards. There are 8 different train car card colors in the deck. There are also locomotive cards that count as wild and can be used as any color. You are allowed to draw 2 cards on your turn following these specific rules. You can pick up one of the face-up cards and put it into your hand, immediately replacing it with a card from the deck. You may also choose to draw a card from the top of the deck if you want to. If you decide to draw a face-up wild card, then you do not get a second draw, either from the deck or from the face-up cards in play. If after your first draw you flip over a wild card, you cannot choose to pick it up as your second draw. If you happen to draw a wild from the deck as your second draw, that's okay and you can keep that card. If at any time there are 3 face-up wild cards in play, then you immediately discard all 5 face-up cards and replace them with new ones. Routes are the spaces connecting one city to an adjacent city. To claim a route on the board, you need to discard an equal amount of cards with the corresponding color required for that route. Then you place your train card tokens on each open spot of the chosen route. You cannot claim any already claimed routes. Gray routes can be claimed by discarding an equal amount of cards of any one specific color. There are some spots on the board that have double routes. In a 2 or 3 player game, only one of these routes can be claimed. In a 4 or 5 player game, both of these routes can be claimed, but not by the same player. When you claim a route, you get points depending on how long the route was. It's also important to know that you do not need to claim routes next to your previously claimed routes. You can claim routes anywhere on the board. Destination cards will give you points at the end of the game. Each card will have 2 cities on it, and if you can connect these cities by placing your train card tokens on the board throughout the game, you will score points equal to the card's value. The longer the route, the more points. If you have any uncompleted destination cards at the end of the game, you will lose points equal to the value shown on the card. To draw destination cards, you simply take the top 3 cards from the destination deck and decide which of the 3 you want to keep. You must keep at least one of these cards, but you can also choose to keep all 3. Any cards you do not want to keep are returned to the bottom of the deck. The game ends when at the end of any player's turn, that player has 2 or less train card tokens left in their reserve. After that, each player, including the player whose turn it was, gets one last turn. Throughout the game, players will have been scoring points for each of their completed routes, depending on how long each route was. Players will then reveal their destination cards and add all completed cards to their point total. If they have any uncompleted destination cards, those will be subtracted from their point total. And finally, players will see who has the longest continuous path of train card tokens on the board, and the player or players with the most gets 10 bonus points. The player with the most points at the end of the game wins. And that's how you play Ticket to Ride. So Mousie, what'd you think of this game?
It was fun! I loved the little train pieces, and making them connect was cool.
Well, if you liked it that much, guess what? This is just the original game. There's a whole bunch of different variants out there, each one with its own unique map.
Really? I want to see all the different maps! I can't wait to play them all! Yeah!
Of course we could play them. It'll be fun.
Yeah!
Well, that's the end of another episode of If You Give a Mouse a Meeple. Thank you for watching, and we'll see you next time.